All right, let's see here. I gotta close a few things down, try to make it a little bit nicer for everybody. Today is February 23rd, 2019. It is roughly 15 minutes until the daily candle close, so we get a little jump start on this one, which is good. Give me a couple minutes just to sort a few things out here, make sure that everything is all on the up and up. You know, we wouldn't want it to not be. Right. I want to make sure I got my 15, 5, and 1, or my 1, 5, 15 chart up. That's doing its thing in the background, so don't worry about that. That's going to be fine. And yes, so that's good. I'll have to clean this up a little bit and let that load. This way we could break down, you know, just the last few moves, the last few hours as we creep into the Saturday candle close, which is always an exciting time. We definitely had some volatility earlier, hitting some big moves, which is good. I think people were starting to miss those a little bit. Now I did put those 3 platforms up: YouTube, Twitch, and Streamy. So I'll try to cycle through the 3 of them. For the chat window, I tend to keep the YouTube chat open, at least on that screen, and then I try to rifle through the other 2 if you know, if anyone's shouting out. So if I miss you, I'm sorry, but I will try to. I'll try to get there. Really will. So on the left-hand side, you see the 15-minute chart. You can see the moves that were being made earlier. Good moves up. All pretty strong. Excellent volume on the way. And then, you know, the quick dump right around 12 o'clock. Just to push it back down. And then sideways and up again. So we got another couple moves up. And then we ended up just going sideways. Down and sideways. But right now we're trading under that high that we made during that big push, which is this guy up here, somewhere in the 41.33 area. We were able to get all the way up to, at least briefly, we were able to hit 41.57, so that's pretty good. Not quite at the target level, or the third target. Now for the Gartley that we were looking at last night, well, for the last several, whatever, month or so, I guess, this is not behaving properly. So I'm just trying to pull this chart down just a little bit. Come on, work with me here. All right, we're gonna let that figure out its own issues. I'll get back over to the XBT chart. Yes, so this is the Gartley we were talking about a while back. Let's see, January 8th, we got the first sign, December 27th. That was just the pullback to the 618 off of this nice move, and that's what gets the trigger going. Shooting for an 886, ended up with an 836. We were cool with that, and from there we set our D target down. I think originally it was 33.61 was our D target, and of course we settled for 33.30. That was absolutely fine. You can see the push up, 382, that's the first target. 618 is the second target. We just hit that a few days back. Looking for the third leg, which would be the full retracement 1 back to A. That's sitting right now at 42.41. So, you know, it's in the back of our heads. Of course, anything could happen, but that would be nice if that does play out. After that, you're looking for a 127, and everything else is bonus material. 141, 1618. Those are both bonuses. If you took profits at the 382, the 618, and the 1, and now the 127, I don't know how much you would have left in here, depending on what you're actually pulling out as profits. You're doing 10%, 20%, 25%. That's all based on your trading style. I really do want this chart to, I want this chart to behave. So I'm going to continue to cross my fingers here that it's going to be okay. It looks like it's a little happier. It's a little happier. I might have gotten a vote of confidence from somebody watching, so I appreciate that. And I have not looked over at the screens yet, so just give me 1 second. If you're out there, that's awesome. We will also break down, or at least take a look at, of course, what happened today, what happened in the last 24 hours, what happened since the last candle close, and we'll be using the price action scanner for that. We'll be setting up for D1, and we'll take a look at peak gains and sort of see what moved, what had an extra special day, so to speak, and maybe what went sideways. There were certainly a few that off the top of my head, I know ETH was moving pretty good. Tron was moving down pretty good. Bitcoin had a few great moves up. I think ETC was doing well, and I believe Neo finally broke out of that retest target. So that was good. I got to double check that chart anyway, so I'll pull that up regardless. Yeah, it's doing its thing. It's doing its thing. That'll give me time to come over here. Ed Hughes. Yeah, the feed is lagging. Not sure if something about it keeps jumping. All right. Thank you, Ed. I will, I'm trying to do my best over here to get things situated. They should be okay, but yeah, you just can't win. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying. I really am. We're gonna eventually, things are gonna be, really good. And those days, I can't wait for those days. So hopefully, a lot of the lag's on my side. All right. So if you're seeing something, but like as long as I can move the cursor around and I can pull up charts, then we're gonna be all right. We're gonna struggle through it together because community. That's the name of the game. Right. So we were talking earlier, or at least we were talking last night about a couple big players. ONT was making some good moves. Neo, we pulled up that chart. We were looking at that. ICX we've been looking at. So let's see what moved today now. I don't think we pulled the chart for Arter yesterday. I'm trying to remember if we did or not, but it did make a significant move today, 41% up, but lost more than 100% of it. So it's further down than where it started. So that could be a classic sign of a pump and dump, you big smash hit up, and then all of a sudden everything's gone. So we're not going to bother with this right now. We could tell that we're in a downtrend, at least up to the 4, including the daily, sideways with a bearish tone on the 6 and the 12. So friendly reminder, we are 7 minutes from the daily candle close. That's always it's always an exciting time. I try to do that every weekend, so I try to do every Saturday. Sunday is even more important. That's the weekly candle close. So really do enjoy coming on live and just talking about it. So let's do just that. Let's talk about it. We had a low earlier. Let's see, creeping in here, 39.06, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. We had a nice 10 candle run on the 15-minute chart. So, do the math. Everybody do the math. All right, 2.5 hours. Okay, very good. So 2.5 hours, very nice, good push up. Volume was solid, real solid. You can see where you had big giant wicks, right? This was a huge wick, ended up pushing all the way back down, came back on the next candle, and the next candle, the next candle. So you could tell there's definitely a lot of fight going on here. So as the price came up, people were selling to push it back down. It wasn't enough for the new buyers to come in and continue to buy. So all that being said, we ended up wicking out just on the end of that move. We ended up wicking out at 41.32. Gave a little bit back, so gave $19 back right away, and slowly managed to come all the way back up. So this was a great candle right here. Real good run, 41.57. Like I said, it didn't hit the targets for the Gartley. We're not that we're not close, but we're not there yet. We're looking 42.41 or front run as much as you please in order to make this a realization, right? A higher high from, what knocked us down off the start of that pattern. Now, the big drop down here with the retrace, this is an extremely important level, and that is 44.15. That's above our current profit target, which would be the third take profit off the bullish Gartley. But it is below the 127 target from A to D on the extension. So all that being said, we still have a ways to go. We can easily see a pullback from what we just saw on the 15-minute chart. You could call this a head and shoulders. It's pretty weak. I'm not even going to draw it on there. We are making at least, higher lows up to an extent, very close right here. If this is to trail down any further than this zone right here, you're looking around 40.97 ballpark, then we would have failed to make a higher low, at which point then you can start drawing some lines and seeing what's shaking. We do have the holes, right? The purple and the aqua lines. These are your holes. They have now since both become bearish just on the 15-minute chart. They're also bearish on the 5-minute chart, and the 1-minute chart is still, it's trying to load. So that's like it's like poking a sleeping tiger. We're just gonna leave that guy alone. So all in all, that is looking pretty good. Let's go back to the scanner. We got 4 minutes. Hey Saint, what's up, buddy? Saint, thank you for joining. I feel you, man. I'm with you. Yeah, Ed, it's been a struggle from day one, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. I'm good, brother Saint. I am good. Thank you for asking. Brisbane, Australia. Aaron, that's fantastic. I got friends in Australia. That is very good. Question regarding BitMEX. I have never used leverage, but let's say I short one Bitcoin at 4,400 at 100x and shorting towards, let's say, 3K. Do I get like 100 Bitcoin from that Bitcoin? Is that how it works? No, Saint. That's not how it works. Your trading volume would reflect that, but that is not what you'll realize at the end for potential gains. So, all right, the way leverage works without going into a big 6-hour spiel. The way leverage works, just the quick and skinny, is it helps preserve your capital. So let's just say you have $100, and you wanna go into a trade at 10x, right? So instead of using $100, your 10x is going to take 10 times that. So it would only cost you $10 in order to trade, right, with $100. And you'll see the gains like that. Your percentages will move up as if that was all of your trading volume. Unfortunately, it's not, So there's a good way to get bigger multiple trades out there while using, or risking, I should say, less of your capital. But that doesn't mean you see 100x that you're going to realize 100x. Remember that you're borrowing that money and you have to pay the fees to borrow it. And most of those, like something like MEX, if you're doing perpetual swap, then you're paying fees every 8 hours. Either the longs pay the shorts or the shorts pay the longs, depending on who holds a majority of the positions. All right, so 5:59. We are in the very last minute, 40 seconds to go. Let me just double check this real quick. Very nice. Okay. So we can see buying coming in on the 5-minute chart. A little bit bigger than most of the candles, at least for the last, well, we'll call it like the last half hour or so. 1 minute, like I said, it's just kind of doing its thing. So don't worry about that guy right there. 22 seconds. And let's see, it looks like the buying is still continuing on the 5. It's trying to push the 15-minute bullish instead of leaving it with this, double bottom thumbtack hammer pattern that's going over there. All right, and there you have it. So let's pull up the daily and let's take a look at the actual numbers here now that it's officially painted onto the board. We opened at 39.38 and 50 cents. We hit a high of 41.57 and 50 cents. We hit a low all the way down to 39.06 and 50 cents. And then we closed at 41.11 and 50 cents. So, $173 candle, 4.39% on the upside. Closing above 41, well, let's put it this way. Closing above 4K is psychologically bullish, let's just say. That's been a struggle, at least, in the eyes of everyone who has been watching not watching this, I'm just saying watching the charts. 4K has psychologically just been a barrier. Not to say we're not going to pull back down. Of course, we could come back down 38, 37. We could nosedive down to 29 tonight. I'm not saying that's not possible. But let's follow the trend. Right, so from the sideways slow bleed action down, topped out 33.30, did not retest 31.21. Let's not forget that little puppy is sitting all the way down here. After we pushed back up, right, we failed, we came back down, failed to make a higher high here. That's where you see the A and the C. Swung back down, bit of a slow bleed. This took a while. It took about 2 weeks to get all the way down here. 33.30 is where we found support. Very close to where we found support earlier, because I believe this was 33.90, 33.91. So kind of like a double bottom. That sprung this big giant candle. Now $269, 8% up. For the next 10 days or so, we sort of, pulled back a little bit, came back up a little bit, and then another good candle, another 6.7% candle, $244 candle. Very nice. And then we had a pause, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4-day pause, sideways action, nothing crazy. And then today's candle, 4.39%, $173. So one thing you can notice right off the bat, size of candle is shrinking. Okay. It could be an indication or just something to keep in the back of your head as momentum is playing a role, possible exhaustion, or possibly a lot of the buyers used everything they had here and they're finding this price less appealing, obviously, than 33.30. And same goes for this push here, maybe less appealing, obviously, than something further down into the 38, 36, 78 zone. And now they're asking, 4K. To close above 4 is big. I think that is pretty big psychologically. I would like to see this 42.41. That would be very nice. 41 closing above 41, coming back to historical prices is good. This last candle here, that C candle, was a high of 41.30. Now I would like to close above that, but it just didn't happen. We did trade above it, but we just weren't able to close above it. So 41.11 is the close, and that is what we saw. So sometimes we'll see in like the following minute to 15 minutes, we'll see like a big giant push, whether it's going to be a big push up or a big dump down. Not much of anything. You can see the 1 minute candle was bigger than most, but now I'm not seeing anything on the 5 minute. We got 50 seconds to close the first 5 minute candle, and not much is shaking. So the volatility for that particular thing is exhausted for now. All right, how's that? Would love a lesson on leverage and margin since I'm new to it and don't really understand. All right, no problem. I second his request on leverage. Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. I have in the works a video on leverage that still needs to be tightened up, cleaned up, and properly executed. So I'll put that on the burner. I'll raise it up on the list of things that will be coming out soon. I know when I first started with leverage, it was extremely confusing. I didn't understand just even the core concept. I never understood shorting. It just didn't make sense to me how someone could profit while a asset was going down. But you can explain that all. It deals with contracts, and it deals with really essentially borrowing money, or with the idea that buyers are on the other side, sellers are on the other side. So if you're buying, they're selling. If you're selling, they're buying, and yada yada. But to not confuse this stream, we'll tackle that another time for sure. All right. BCD, I know we looked at last time. I want to take a look at some of the movers today, but I want to take a look at some of the larger cap movers. So let's take a look at ONT USDT. Let's take a look at that. We'll pull up the tether chart. I know we looked at this last night. So we were looking at a few things here. This was the breakout play from the descending triangle. It's actually a falling wedge, very close to a triangle. We did have this breakout play, which was nice. I was hoping for a retest. We didn't get it on the daily, but I do believe we got it on the 1 hour. So it's fine. We took that for now. Good run up. Good run. Right. Bit of slight pullback. Nothing crazy. And then 2 good pushes on the daily. So yesterday's close was fantastic. That's a 10% gain. Today's close, fantastic, 18.92%. That's really good. Let's zoom in on this. We'll throw the 4-hour chart up, get a better idea on what we're looking at. That was the buy zone right here off of that last move. I was saying if we did tank on this, then we were hoping that we'd see at least this structure high back down here. Now that was off of this move before that move ever finished. So that was yesterday's news, and that's old news. So now let's talk about today's news. So we pushed back up here. We're looking 4 candles back, so this is where we ended. That was the pullback from this particular move. Now we made another new high. We traded all the way up this time to just under 1.9980. So really, really, really good. Do see a slight pullback now. Now this is that little sandwich pattern. I know there's a name for it, but I can't remember it. But in other words, you have a nice bullish candle up. You have a bearish candle close to size, and then you have another bullish one that just takes it all back. So we'll see how that looks. I want to check the RSI real quick on the 4-hour. So we've been dancing around, up over 70 for quite some time here. As far as the last time we were in 70, it's higher, and it's higher, so that's good. Lower right here, but we could see if that was a pullback area. So let's pull 1, 2. So we're way down here. That's during the very first part of the move. So 1 and 2. So that was actually divergence over here. So when you're looking at top side divergence, right, you're looking at bearish divergence. So price made a higher high, RSI made a lower high, so it's regular bearish divergence, and you can see we came down after that, which is also, just a pullback, which is fine. So we're cool on this. Let's, I wanted to look at NEO USDT, because I know we were talking about this last night. We were looking for this right here, right? So that's perfect. That's a great play. We were hoping that this push down. We ended up getting that the other night. We rode this trend up, which was excellent. And today we finally got the breakout above this candle. So that's good. We were painting this candle last night. To be able to push this back through is awesome. All right, so that's fantastic. Ended up making another one. Look where we stopped out at though. All right, you see that? That's this trend right here. So that's good. That's great. Now we we took a look at it bird's eye point of view, and we were talking about the channel that it's been in for, you know, ever. And to see the breakout of it was great. So this is what we were looking at, is this big giant channel just down, up, down, up, down, up. But this time it finally broke through. So to break through and to make it up over now this historical support resistance is phenomenal, right? So we're using that from structure highs, and that structure high from previous trading. And then, you know, you got a bit of a pause over here, so we use that as well. This was the range that we were trying to break out of, and we did, and we retested, which was very nice. So we had that next big move, another good pullback, and another good move. So for now, we're looking at continuation. I would imagine we're going to get another pullback, something similar to these pullbacks. Really, why not? So if we were just to take the bottom of the move and take the new top, let's just do it real quick. So instead of getting all crazy with it, we would be looking at an area of interest between the 5 and the 618, which also happens to be previous structure highs. All right, so that's always good when you have some type of confluence like that, and we would do something like this because we're expecting this trend to continue to act as support. So you have support, you know, first anchor, second anchor, right? Now you have a trend. This is your confirmation candle that, yes, that trend is good. It's sound, obviously, until it's broken. So we're looking for this move right here. We're looking for a buy-in, relatively speaking, between the 5 and the 618 with confluence of the trend line. If it takes that long to get there, it could very easily drop in the next day or two. And if that's the case, then we're waiting. All right. Let me swing over here. And I didn't get wrecked on my EOS FOMO. Nice. Good for you, Saint. It was a risky play, but it ended up, yeah, EOS had a great day today, too. We're going to have to pull that one up. So around 4.9. Thanks for the quick spiel. Brandon, you got it, brother. Let's take a look at EOS. Were you trading, were you doing Tether, Saint, or were you Bitcoin pairing? We have the Tether chart up for now, so let's scope that out. This was the break again, another break and retest. This was the newer channel that we just made, you know, well, I say just made, but, you know, not that long ago. Back in December, well respected throughout, but we ended up breaking up through it. So